all in one. Now, I'm a version of this. I'm what's called a Sun Therian, which is basically the same, except I do experience mental shifts. Not that I like them, mine are too aggressive. So yeah. Furry is not, I repeat, is not Therianthropy. However, I am both a Therian and a furry. I chose to be a furry. I did not choose to be a Therian. You are always, to explain this properly, you cannot choose to be a Therian. You can choose to be a Therian as much as you choose your skin color or your eye color. It is a part of you and you cannot change it. At least I don't think you can change those things. Mind you, tell it to Michael Jackson. I've lost a few viewers now, haven't I? Anyway. A Therian is always a Therian. And there are different cases of people knowing that they're a Therian all their life, knowing that they're different all their life, and then discovering the term Therianthropy, looking it up and realize that they're one of these people. And then there are people like me who go through what's called an awakening stage, in which your brain clicks and you realize that you are one of these things. Things, I shouldn't say things, should I? Now, a Therian is always a Therian. Personally, when I went through an awakening stage, I didn't know what Therianthropy was. I never heard of the term before, I didn't know what it was, and I spent about 3 or 4 days online looking up, taglines like real werewolf, and eventually I found what was going on. I thought I was going insane at first. I found an article on WikiFur, a furry Wikipedia of all things. And I read it, I went through it, and it's fitted me perfectly. Fitted me absolutely perfectly, and my God was I relieved to find out what the hell I was. Yeah. Now, I also went through what's called the crazy stage. This is largely common in the vampire community. Almost, as far as I know, as far as I've heard, a lot of vampires, almost all vampires go through what's called a crazy stage or a rogue stage, or where they're completely bloody insane. Now, I went through that myself. I started making YouTube videos on this before I even looked into it that much. I'm an idiot. I know. Now, I claimed a bunch of stupid shit in my original videos, one of them being that Therians are another race. We're not human, we're another race, we're better than human. And it's like, what the fuck? I was hated in my class because of this. People thought I was crazy, and rightly so because people found it in college. And, rightly so because I was insane. I claimed stupid shit, and I was an idiot. I was going through a crazy stage. Thankfully, there were some kin online who helped me out with this, who stuck with me through my crazy stage and helped me realize that I was going through a crazy stage. And I'm going to put a shout out to those people now. Spirit Runner 6, thank you very much. Woods of Odin, thank you very much. So yeah, any other people I forgot to mention who stuck by me back then, I'm sorry, but Woods of Odin and Spirit Runner 6 were the type of people who stick out mostly. Well, more, I should say. So yeah, but they've been in the Therian community longer than I have. They've awoken longer than I have, so they are probably used to the crazies by now. Anyway, and that's basically the crazy stage. Now, not all kins. I don't know that many kin who have been through the crazy stage. It's more prevalent with vampires, but yeah, I went through the crazy stage myself. Now, as I say, there are some kin who claim to be a kin all their life, and then only discover the word. Now, I've looked back before, and it's kind of difficult to point out things that maybe relate to Therianthropy, because how many how many people out there when we were younger we acted like animals? It's very, very, very common. A lot of people do this. So yeah, one of the things I noticed is that I actually ate dog food when I was younger. Yeah, and I also ate bonios a lot when I was younger. Kind of points to most domesticated dog king, isn't it? But I am definitely a wolf. I've been through this a few times. I've thought maybe I'm a dog, maybe I'm a dog, maybe I've looked deeply, I've looked mellowly, I've looked lightly. And each way points to wolf. Yeah. What makes a furry different from an average day human? Not much, not much. Let me just state this now. Furrians are not special. A lot of people, a lot of skeptics and a lot of furry haters will say that we're pretty much all teenagers trying to be special, trying to be different. This is not the case, and now I have stated this before. This is not the case. There are people, there are adults in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s who are kin. The thing is that as you grow, you realize that telling people that you're a kin is not the smartest thing around to do, because telling someone you're a kin risks people thinking you're crazy, which isn't a big deal when you're a teenager or in your early 20s or 30s. But when you've got a job to try and hold on to, you don't want people thinking you're crazy. You really don't. So I believe this is one of the reasons why people of a certain age don't talk about it as much. But if you look, you will find furrians of that age online on the community, on various communities. They do exist. Once you're a furrian, you're a furrian all your life. You were born a furrian, you continue to be a furrian until you die. And then whatever the hell you believe probably takes place, if you know what I mean by that. Now, there's a furry of mine, the reason why mostly teenagers seem to be kin. Well, there's a few. The reason to this, in my personal opinion, is because, one, teenagers are more open about this matter, because, let's face it, a lot of us want to be different, a lot of us want to be individuals, not just teenagers, but all people, but teenagers tend to strive to this more so. And I'm 20, so I'm not so much a teenager anymore, but, you know, you get the point, only recently turned 20, but, you know. Anyhow, and realizing this about yourself is a perfect way of being different, of being an individual, and being open about this. That being said, not all teenagers are open about this. Some are terrified, because I have heard of cases of people growing up in a Christian family. Sorry about that, the battery went, I've just had to put the plug in. As I was saying, I have heard of cases where kin are born into Christian families, and they're frightened of telling their parents this, because they would believe that these people that their kids are possessed by the devil, which is fucking retarded, and just another reason why I really don't like Christianity. My mother's a Christian. In fact, most of my family are largely New Age Christians, you know, kind of Wiccan Christians type thing. It's weird. And she's one of them, but my family are pretty much accepting. They're not exactly the type of people who's going to disown me or think I'm possessed by the devil because I'm a kin. I've told some members of my family about it. Some people have dismissed it, some just ignore it. My mother, however, has accepted it. She doesn't understand it, which I don't understand how someone can accept something when they don't understand it themselves, but maybe that's just a flaw of mine. She's accepted it, she's fine with it, she's tried to understand it, but she can't. And I'm just lucky enough to have a mother like that. Unfortunately, not many people can be this open about it, which is really a shame. The other reason why I believe that there are a lot of kin why most kin seem to be teenagers is because, let's face it, during the teenage years, you're developing mentally and physically. So what better time to realize this part about yourself, this part of yourself, what better time to awaken to this part of yourself than when you're already going through serious mental changes. It just seems like the perfect time to click onto this, as far as I'm concerned. Of course, it does it does add to the weight of teenage years. A lot of people will put it down to teenage angst and that type of thing, which is a shame, but I just personally believe that that is the best time to awaken, when you're already going through huge mental changes. So yeah, this is why furrians seem to be largely teenagers. But we're not all teenagers. As I said before, it's just it makes more sense to keep it to yourself the older you get, which I've learned myself. Though in my actual life, it's not something I've had to hide, because personally I see it. I connect Therianthropy a lot to. Well, I just not connect, but I relate Therianthropy a lot to homosexuality. Because it's something you're born with, it's something you can't change, it's something that, it's just a part of you. And it's also something that people, you don't know when you're a kid, and because of the way society is as you grow up, you kind of, you know you're different, but you don't know why, you don't know how, and then as you grow up further you realize why. Some people accept it. Bigots and the ignorant hate people like this and despise people like this because of their god or various reasons. And a lot of people choose to hide this aspect of themselves because, well, for safety reasons, maybe they're hiding it from their family because their family won't accept it or that type of thing. And it's the same with Therianthropy. With both Therianthropy and homosexuality, a lot of the time you'll go through an awakening period. A lot of the time you'll suffer opposition from dumbasses, and it's really nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be proud of either. I mean, personally, I've never understood pride in things that you haven't done yourself. If you've climbed a career and you're very successful, be proud of yourself. If you're born in a certain country, or if you have green eyes, if you have blonde hair, if you have red hair, if you have white skin, black skin, tan skin, if you're gay, if you're bi, if you're pan, who the hell cares? This is who you are. It's not something to be proud of, it's not something to be ashamed of, it's just who you are. I've never understood that type of pride. So yeah, that being said, I'm proud to be a kid. I'm happy to be a kid. How to spot a furrian. Now this ties into what I said before about how are furrians different from people? No, well not. And it's pretty difficult to spot a furrian. It's easy to spot a furry, but it's difficult to spot a furrian. Because a furrian can be anyone. Anyone. It could be your lawyer, it could be your doctor, it could be your best friend, your parents even, your son or daughter. It could be anyone. And there's no way really to detect a furrian. It is easier with people like me who are very open about the topic. Very open about this aspect of themselves, very showy, I think I should say, about this aspect of themselves. Because I am showy about this aspect of myself. I'm happy, I'm made up really, that I am one of these things. Well, I keep saying things, I am one of these people. Because furrians generally have a greater knowledge about themselves. They generally have a larger understanding of the world around them and of the natural world, and I generally have a great more respect for kin than I do non-kin, because of this. That being said, not all kin are intelligent people. Some are complete douchebags, because after all, furrians are humans. Let's not forget this. Furrians are humans. The only difference is the way we think and how we act. And even then, it's not that different. We are people. We are human beings, just like you.